Hey, Father Lord, Father Lord, Father Lord. So you guys thought mentor don't born again, ba? Ah, Father Lord. Oh. Thank you for wishing me well and congratulating me. Thank you for so in your heart of hearts, you were thinking, oh, mentor don't born, okay. Name me jollof rice done ready. Oh my goodness. Back to sender in 1001 foods. I'm just bringing you guys good news that New Zealand needs midwives and you can get your registration done. If you have all your documents submitted, your registration will be ready within a month and then you start sourcing for jobs. And there are many employers outside there willing to sponsor people to New Zealand to come and practice as midwives. So let's jump right into this. I'm a mother of nations. So I haven't given birth to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's run it. Let's run it. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in again today. I've been seeing a lot of information outside there of midwives being needed in New Zealand, and I've seen so many people requesting for those ones who are asking for people to join the midwifery world in New Zealand about what to do, and I've not actually had any one of them giving you the processes. Of course, maybe they are doing that in the private chats, private messages, but I thought, okay, let me make it something big that everybody who thinks they want to do this will be able to look into and get it done. So New Zealand is in need of midwives. It's a big deal. It's not something I will say if you don't want to go the whole length of it. I will not encourage you to even start. In fact, you may not even want to listen, except you want to listen for someone else, because it's a whole lot of very, very much lengthy process. In this particular process, you will need your English language. You will need so many things that I will be naming at some period of time. But then I make bold to tell you that this process is capital intensive. It's going to really touch your wallet like big time. So if you are not someone who is ready to spend so much on this kind of a journey, please, it may be wise or helpful if you don't listen to the whole length of it, except you just want to listen to give you information that can help someone else. Then if you are not a midwife, it may not be your thing, except you want to listen and share the information with someone. If you are a midwife and you've been practicing in midwifery, at least anytime in the last 5 years, at least two years in the last 5 years, if you've practiced midwifery in those 2 years, then it is something you can do. The fee is big that you are going to pay for application is 1,350 New Zealand dollars, which is not too small. It's a very, very big money. And at some point, you will need to write OSCE. If you are called to write OSCE because you've not been practicing in the sister countries, we all know those countries, they count as their sister countries: US, UK, Singapore, Australia, Canada, Ireland, and a few others. If you've not been practicing there, you are coming from they are coming from Africa, any African countries, then you will actually need to do objective structured clinical examination assessments for registration. And it is capitally big too. You will be paying 2,000 New Zealand dollars for that. All these are not difficult if it is something you are happy to go through and have your certificate and get the job. But I know there was actually a time that New Zealand was very passionate about recruiting midwives from African countries. And I'm talking about like between 2012 and 2015, because they know we do a whole lot of very beautiful midwifery around. So I don't think you will have challenges getting the registration, but you will need to go and do some things there, maybe some like all these catch-ups, programs, adaptations, and all those things. Then you write OSCE, which is a very big deal. So if it is not what you want to do, please don't stress yourself. So if you want to be a midwife in New Zealand, there are different pathways which you can take. You can reach out to these people to get information from them. You can follow them on Facebook and you can give them a ring. I will show you where you can get, this is their contact. If you want to reach out to them, this is their, you can click on this one and get whatsoever. See as many people that you want to reach out to. You can call them on phone. This is their phone number. You can reach out to them on their email addresses. Anything you think you need, international registration, you can get this one here. Send them email, ask them questions about how to get their registrations done. Then you should be fine thereafter. Now, the process of registration is a big one. Like I mentioned the other time, if you want to get registered and you are an internationally educated person, you were not trained in any of those sister countries, even if you are trained in any of those sister countries, you can't get express registration except you have Australian midwifery registration. That is the one you can convert the way you will normally convert through the Trans-Tasmania Mutual Relationship. But if you are an international person, this is what you're going to do. There are various processes. See the documents that are very much relevant to what you want to do. Certification checklist. You have that checklist that you're going to look at. Then competencies for registration as a midwife, self-assessment template. You have to download all these and have a good look through them. Then you will need to take this criminal conviction disclosure, where you do some thick truths and you still work on fit to work. Health disclosure, IQM application guidelines. You have to look through the guidelines. IQM applying for registration, IQM character reference, so many things that you have to look into. Professional development plan. There is a place where you have to write a whole lot of things, write reflections, upload this, upload that. Evidence of identity, that is your identity documents and all those things. IQM medical certificate. You have comparability documents. You have so many things to download and work on and send over to them. All those things. Now, what do you need? Requirements. So the identity whatsoever that you need to prove, you must be able to prove who you are by providing identification documents in accordance with our evidence of identity documents. You have to click that through. I won't be clicking those things through for you so that I don't waste your data. Then your qualification must be relevant in content and competencies. In this situation, I will advise you that you don't only send your transcripts, you send your certificates, you request for your curriculum of study from your school so that they send it along. I know there are many schools that are very much happy to do all those things. There's nothing to hide there because it is what make the whole level of what you've been taught. And there were these logs that we used to keep in the schools of midwifery in those days, where you will put the number of deliveries you've conducted, you put the numbers of cephalic presentations that you've conducted as during deliveries, and you put the numbers of other kind of lies that you've conducted, maybe breech presentations, shoulder presentations, cesarean sections, preterm babies, and so many other things about other deliveries that we termed in those days. There's no child that is abnormal, but we termed them the abnormal deliveries or abnormal midwiferys in those days. So maybe like that deform mole situations, things like that. So you may want to maybe make a copy of the logbook and send it across when you are sending them. That's if you still have them. I know, God rest Mama fellowship of those days in our schools of midwifery, Mama kept reiterating that to us that we must keep those books. And we had RIN. I'm sure we had all those things. You can make a copy of that, because after you've done everything through and through, you still have you still keep those things. I believe I still have mine. So your RIN, you can make a copy of them and add everything together to just prove that you've done. Then you will need to write a reflection at some point. So your midwifery qualification to go with it, equivalent in content and competencies to the New Zealand Bachelor of Midwifery for Registration. Now, because it's a bachelor's program, I would encourage that if your midwifery is post-basic or is basic, please add your post-basic certificate in whatsoever field you've done it, had it. And you may send these people mail before you even start this application, because it will be very painful if you pay these very big amounts and eventually they say, okay, it's not degree, it doesn't meet the criteria, and so we cannot even invite you to come and do OSCE. So please and please and please ensure that you send them mail. It is very, very important. Send them mail. I will carve out the email address again. I'll put it on the screen so that you can reach out to them at your own conveniences. And this is the phone number again. Please do well to reach out to them. Follow them here. Don't let everything we are doing be them say, hearsay, and you are not following up by yourself. Please kindly follow them up and ask questions by yourself. Then post-registration midwifery education, post-registration midwifery practice, units that you've been posted to: antenatal, postnatal, labor room, postpartum room. I mean, that's the postnatal ward, special care baby unit. All those, we do another, we do these postpartum clinics thereafter till 6 weeks after delivery, and some people combine family plannings into all those. Please, all these things, your family planning certificate, add everything. Because why am I encouraging this? If we look away from verification, that might likely delay things. This is going to be really fast, because you are not going to pass through CGFNS. You are applying directly to this board. And I believe that is why that fee is very big, because with CGFNS type, you first pay to CGFNS. Then when they are done, you first pay that 300. When they are done, you pay this. And when they are done again, you pay another. But this one, they are taking it straight up and they are handling everything by themselves. So post-registration midwifery practice, the number of years, which must be within, don't forget this, I've mentioned this, the immediate 5 years preceding your application. So anything from 2019 till this time is when you will be fit to, if you've been practicing in midwifery arena from 2019 till now, whether 2019 and 2020 you were doing it, or 2023, 2024, you started working in that area since late 2022 and something, anything 2 years back will be fine within the last 5 years. So put that in. Then post-midwifery education. Please include evidence of at least 3 years post-registration midwifery continuing education. So your MCPDP, those that they are always, that we always go through, whether you learn them online, whether you do face-to-face, mandatory professional, continuous professional development, all those things. Put them in there. Then you will click on the self-assessment form and provide details of how your practice meets the New Zealand competencies. That the competencies, you will be able to have access to them when you've made your payments. And I'm sure if you can't see the competencies for registration as a midwife, so you will need to look into all those things and use them to build your essay about how you think your registration meets those competencies. Okay, so English language. Now, this is a big deal of it. You need to pass your English language test, whichever one you are presenting to them. So the approved English language tests are OET and IELTS. You should achieve a minimum pass mark of A or B in each section. That is your OET. So if you have B all through, you are very good to go with this one. Or if you are giving them IELTS, you must have overall band score of 7.5 and no module is less than band 7. You must achieve the score in one sitting. So they are not combining results. So take note of this. Take note of this. Take note of this. Take note of this. If you're having challenges with IELTS, just Google book OET with ease. Then you must be currently registered in a country where you received your education. So if you want to do this and you left your home country where you were possibly where you had your initial training, and in the past 3 or 4 years you've left, you've not renewed your registration, you will not be able to do this. So your registration must be current. Then you will need to provide verification of good standing from all countries you have been and are registered with. So if let's assume you were trained in Nigeria and you've gone to practice in Saudi, then you left Saudi, you practice in India, and from India you went to Ireland, you have to get verification of good standing from all those places, all right, where you've had your practices. Very essential. Then your fitness for registration and practice, you have to demonstrate that you are of a very good character and that you have no mental or physical condition that adversely affects your ability to practice as a midwife. All those things, your PCC should be able to say them to you, and if they need some health information from you, or if it's a click through or fill in forms, you just fill them in and send them ahead. So you must provide a current police report from your country of residence and from every country where you have resided for a period of 12 months or more from the age of 12 years. So fit to work, you are going to use this site to look into fit to work and get fit to work and to action your character and all those things and all those things. You can get all these things done, you should be very fine. So there are some people that fit to work and not provide information for their countries. So all these ones, you will need to go to this website to obtain relevant police certificates that is of the standard acceptable to the council. Now, if you've got registration with other authorities, you will need to provide verification of registration and current good standing from the national or state regulatory authority where you are currently registered as a midwife, and from any other health practitioner authority where you have been registered in the past. So you might not just be a midwife alone, you may be a practitioner, a consultant. You have to provide all those information. If you think you've got any other important information, please ensure that you read through all these things. Very, very essential. All applications are considered by the council on a case-by-case basis. So what applies to A might not be what they apply to B. Once they've received all the required information, it may take up to 1 month before your application can be determined. I think that's quick enough. If you can get all your documents across to them, 1 month is quick enough, speedy enough. And while we allow you to upload documents during application process, you must send the certified physical copies to the council by post. So they still need you to send your documents to them by post after you've uploaded. There are authorities that just want us these days to upload. They don't need all those certified copies. So these guys are still living in the past. They want you to still get those things certified and send to them. But they are not insisting that those things must be certified by notary public or whatsoever, at least per this. Maybe elsewhere, maybe they will. Or if you want to play safe, you may just use a notary public. If they don't mind, you can just use a lawyer. Even if your husband is a lawyer, let them certify it for you. Or possibly go to the court and do a certified copy, this and that, all those. Now, this information, take note. Applicants who are unable to submit all required documents within 6 months of initial application will have to reapply to the council and pay a new application fee. If this is going to be so, I will say look through this note and gather your documents first. So this might not be very safe for a situation if Nigerian government now is not, if NMCN is not doing any verification. It's not something that I think people from Nigeria will be able to do at this particular point in time. But there are some people from other countries that possibly will be able to do this. So gather your documents, approach your board, know that they will be ready to send your documents before you start this. But then there's this little information they put there, where the application is incomplete due to process or information required from a third party, then the time frame will not apply. So if you need information from a third party, like what our NMCN is doing now, they will waive this for you. But if you are someone who wants everything sharp, and we don't know what NMCN is doing now, then this area might be very, very, you may want to be very careful. But since they said they will not really mind, look at the policy, read through this policy. I'm not going to be clicking through those policies for you so that I don't end up wasting your data. Like, let's have a look. The council does not currently operate any reciprocal registration. We know that they are not doing any other proxy things. The only country they are picking their registration to convert to them theirs is New Zealand. We all know all that. So it does not accept application from internationally qualified new graduates. So if you don't have up to 2 years, don't kuku apply. That is what this is saying. If you don't have up to 2 years, keep your money in your wallet. You may wish to explore work opportunities in New Zealand while your application is in progress. However, the council strongly advises that you do not enter into any employment arrangements or make any immigration arrangement based on a presumption that your application will be successful, a presumption as to when a decision on your application will be received. So with this, they think you may want to be looking for a job, which is reasonable. So I want to think they really need people and all that and all that. But they said you should wait for decisions to be made. And for those of us who might probably end up to be in need of what do they call it now? Adaptation program, OSCE and all those ones, even if you get the job, except if the employer shows big understanding and know that, oh, you are coming to write OSCE. I don't know if the employers are supporting for people to write OSCE. You may start reaching out to employers. There are people everywhere around that are looking for people who want to do this, who want to come as midwives. So please, you may want to start looking into all this now. This one does not concern us for now because it is for those who are applying under Trans-Tasmania Mutual Recognition Agreement, like those ones in Australia. So that is it. You can then click this and start your application. It's a whole lengthy process. It's a big lengthy process. If you think you want me to have a go at filling the form through, I can do it, but I don't think we really need it. We can all fill forms. It's not a big deal. But if you need help with anything, kindly reach out. Yes, kindly reach out. I wish you guys good success with your effort.